Great, guys. So now we are going to look into the causes of unemployment. We're going to look into the factors that actually contributes to unemployment increasing rapidly as we're experiencing in the South African economy. We did calculate that out of 25 million people who are economically active in the South African economy, a whopping 33.5% of them are unemployed, and the numbers keep increasing. So we're going to look into the causes of unemployment linked together with the types of unemployment. As I indicated, that the types of unemployment in the introduction of our lessons, they are linked, they are intertwined with the causes of unemployment. In fact, these types of unemployment, in terms of how they structured, they actually make up, or they are considered to be one of the causations of unemployment. So what we're going to be looking into first, we're going to look into what we consider to be the general causes of unemployment in the economy. Are we still together? Yes, meaning we're going to look into the factors that contribute significantly to us seeing the economically active population, meaning those aged between 15 to 64, who are willing and who are able to work, who are actively seeking work, but happens to continue not finding work. Right, firstly, we're going to look into what you call changes in technology. Guys, in every economy in the world, in the modern day today, whether it be in the developed economy, whether in the developing economy or in the growing economies, every economy is starting to embrace change in technology. As if when you look into what we have gone through in terms of our cell phones, we use the two generation or 2G, then it moved to 3G, it moved to 4G. We are now at 5G, which is the fifth generation. Okay, and every economy is embracing what you call artificial intelligence or AI, which is linked together with robotics. Artificial intelligence and robotics are linked to changes in technology. The more technology advances in the economy, guys, the lesser labor is demanded. And for those who were part of our lessons in term 3, those who were involved in the lessons in term 3, when we're doing the demand for labor, and we discussed the factors that influences demand for labor in the economy, we outlined this and we made an example that the more technology advances, the lesser labor is demanded in the economy, and that contributes to an increase in the rate of unemployment. I made an example or made a reference to for you guys to look deeply into the First National Bank. First National Bank, known as the FNB, has significantly invested in digital banking. They are slowly reducing the size of their branches because they advanced technology of their ATMs. Everything that can be done by a teller is now being done by an ATM. So why would FNB need to hire 10 tellers at the branch while all the 10 ATMs can do what those 10 tellers can do? So the more technology advances, meaning the more ATMs are able to do what humans can do, you will realize that the labor is going to be rendered unnecessary. Similarly to the example that I've made of ShopRite Checkers. ShopRite Checkers have launched a first of its kind store in Cape Town, where it is the cashierless, or rather cashierless and cashless the retail store, where you don't have to use cash in order to buy goods and services, and where you don't have to pay using cash to a cashier inside that store, meaning that is the first store of its kind. And as technology evolves, more of the retail shops like that will emerge, where a shop does not necessarily need to have a cashier in order to process payments. So you enter into that ShopRite store, you buy chocolate and biltong, and then you just go to the till, and then you scan the products, and then you pay with your card, then you leave without having to have a cashier. So If ShopRite advances this technology, the more we're going to realize that it has to reduce the number of labor that it demands. And the more people are retrenched or laid off because of technology, that contributes to unemployment. So at the ShopRite stores, in that ShopRite store in Cape Town, the only person you find there employed would be a security guard who have to check that those goods that you scanned and paid for, you actually scan the correct goods based on your slip. Secondly, we're going to look into the minimum wage laws, and I think, how does the minimum wage laws contribute to the increased rate of unemployment? Guys, remember when we're doing those who were part of our lessons in term 2. In term 2, we have done in detail the minimum wages. How do we determine the prices for labor within the economy? Then more the government introduces minimum wages, rather, meaning the more government prescribes how much employers in the private sector must pay their employees, the likeliness of these employers demanding less labor because government demands them to pay employees higher prices. So we saw, as we realized, that the more minimum wage increase, the demand for labor is going to increase, meaning people have to be laid off. As a result of that, it actually increases unemployment. Then thirdly, we look into recession or downswing in a business cycle. Again, as we've done in the first term, we did the phenomenon of business cycles, and we also done in detail the phases of business cycles. And we understand that during recession, this is a period where the economic activities is decreasing, the level of production is decreasing, and as production decreases or goes down, then the businesses are demanding less labor because they cannot have more labor yet producing less goods and services. It's not going to be good for them. As a result, they are going to lay off workers during recession. Okay, then this is also called cyclical unemployment, which we will discuss in detail when we discuss the types of unemployment. Then fourthly, what may cause unemployment? Guys, people moving from one job to another and being unemployed during this process. People resign. Whenever a person resigned from his current job, whether they are unhappy because of a salary, they are unhappy with the working conditions, or whatever the case may be, they decide to resign and leave their work in order to find another job, another work or another job. That contributes to unemployment numbers increasing. And this is normally called a frictional unemployment, because you cannot look for another job while you are employed at another job. Why? Because you have to attend interviews, you have to submit CVs and so forth. So and you cannot tell your employer, your current employer, that I'm going to be off tomorrow because I have to go to an interview. Of course, that is another ground for dismissal. And I think you know how to deal with that as you discuss the human resource function in your lessons on business studies. So for people to find another job, whether they are unhappy with their current job for whatever number of reasons, then they have to resign. The minute they resign and leave their current work, that contributes to the unemployment numbers. Okay? Yes, and this is normally called frictional unemployment. Then, guys, one of the causes of unemployment, again, we call it the slow period in specific industries when businesses need fewer workers. We call this seasonal unemployment. Remember that other industries require people based on the season. For example, those businesses who are farming apples or who are farming oranges, they plant oranges, and the oranges and apples, they have a specific harvest time. They can only demand more workers to harvest oranges during the harvest season. Let us, for example, say harvest season is in June. So from January, February, March, April, and May, farmers do not employ people to harvest because it is not a harvesting season. But in June, they hire 100 people to harvest. Okay, that means the number of unemployment goes down. But in July, it is no longer harvest time. Then they will have to retrench and lay off these workers. Do you understand? So once the season of harvesting of oranges ends, then unemployment increases because they have to release those people from their current employment. Are we still together? Similarly to the parts of the coastal parts of our country, the instances like the issues in Durban or in Cape Town. Cape Town and Durban becomes more populated, or tourists visit during December time, which is summer or spring, or people taking time off. Meaning more hotels, more restaurants are hiring more people in during December, whether the restaurant is based in Durban or whether the restaurant is based in Cape Town, because more people flood into Cape Town and Durban during December or Christmas holidays. But in January, when that labor is no longer demanded because this off-peak tourism season, they have to let go of those people that they hired in December. As a result, it leads to do what? It leads to unemployment increasing again. Those people can only be employed again when it is peak season for tourism. But once again it becomes off peak season for tourism, then those people have to be laid off. Then one of the causes of unemployment, guys, we call it it happens when a large unskilled labor force not providing required or matching skills to be employed. Here we reach a point where you have a large number of economically active population in a particular area not providing the skills that is required. Okay, for example, the Northwest Province is one of the provinces that specializes in the mining of chrome. The large number of mining companies dealing in chrome are found in the Northwest. Okay, but if you realize that then labor that is demanded, people who are in demand to be employed in Northwest, in the particular area where the mines are located, are people who studied mining engineering, people who knows everything about mining, or people who are qualified in terms of mining. So if a company opens 10 new mines of chrome in the Northwest Province, and the population in that particular area is not skilled in mining, they are not qualified in mining, of course they cannot be employed. As a result, they are going to be unemployed in that particular area. Similarly to Durban, where the new marine company would be opening aquarium, for example, they'll be opening 10 aquariums in Durban. Then for people to be employed, we need people who are skilled in aquamarines, people who are skilled in oceans and so forth. And if those people are not available, they are not skilled, of course majority of the people in that particular area will not be employed. As a result, unemployment numbers will be meaning job opportunities will be there, but the economically active population will not be skilled enough to provide what is required. As a result, that is going to increase unemployment, and we call that unemployment structural unemployment. There are, guys, a variety number of other general causes of unemployment. We can talk about the changes in the economic environment, meaning when a country's economy changes, the economy is experiencing difficulties, of course the rate of unemployment is going to increase, meaning during the periods of recession, for instances. Then again, when you talk about changes in consumer preferences, guys, also contributes towards an increase in unemployment. How so? Because whenever a consumer no longer wants to consume your product, that means you have to stop production. As a result, you have to lay off the workers. I'm going to make an example. There used to be a company that was manufacturing BlackBerry phones. It was manufacturing BlackBerry phones, and then it happened that the was a new company, Samsung and Apple came into being, then people started to demand less of Blackberries. And as a result, BlackBerry had to shut down its BlackBerry operations because there was a change in consumer preferences. People now decided to say, we no longer prefer BlackBerry, we prefer Samsung S5, Samsung S21, we prefer iPhones. As a result, that change in preference led to the BlackBerry company to shut down its production of mobile devices. So all those people who were employed at the factories that were producing BlackBerry mobile devices had to be unemployed, increasing the rate of unemployment as a result of a change in consumer preferences. Again, guys, we may look at a poor education system as we have discussed when we're doing the characteristics. The more people unqualified and uneducated they are, the more unemployment rates are going to increase. Are we still together? So the more education system in South African economy, for example, remains poor, do not adjust or advance to be competitive, then it means that our people will continue to receive poor education. As a result, they will not be able to participate in the economy, because in South African economy, you have to be competitive, you have to be well positioned in order to compete with the global economies. So if our education system is poor, if our education infrastructure is poor, and we're unable to produce high quality engineers, we're unable to produce high quality accountants and technicians and so forth, then our people will remain unemployed, because the foreign companies will not come to invest in order to employ people, because those people have poor education as a result of the poor education system. Then, of course, insufficient growth in the economy of a country also contributes significantly to the rate of unemployment. And lastly, we also may also look into overpopulation, and this actually happens in Gauteng, because many people in Gauteng are not unemployed because of the fact that they are unqualified. Gauteng is one of the most populated provinces in South Africa, so the competition is extremely high. So you may have masters in accounting, you may have masters in metallurgical studies, you may have all these qualifications, but you remain unemployed in Gauteng, not because you are not educated. It's because Gauteng is overpopulated. So overpopulation again contributes to the rate of unemployment. Similarly to those people who leave KwaZulu-Natal after grade 12, who leave Eastern Cape, who leave Limpopo to go to study at Gauteng universities like University of Johannesburg, University of the Witwatersrand, amongst others. And then after graduating, they stay in Gauteng in order to look for job opportunities. So they continue to contribute towards an increase in the population size of Gauteng, which ultimately affects them negatively, as the more people enter Gauteng, the more people are going to be unemployed because of the population size. So overpopulation contributes significantly to the rate of unemployment. Guys, that is the causes of unemployment. And if there are any questions, please do forward them and we'll answer them. Are we still together? Fantastic.